Welcome back to Technique with Thompson. Finally, we're actually going to do the stroke itself. We're actually going to be playing. So if you watched all of our previous episodes, we talked about the different ways to move your hands. We talked about how to train that motion to get stronger. We talked about how to properly grip the stick. And we talked about where to set yourself up on the drum so that you'll be ready to play. Now, I need you to go back and review those concepts before you do this part. So you need to place your hand back on a flat surface, preferably one that's long enough to hold your elbow, and just review this motion real slow. Okay, and then I need you to actually lift your wrist up. Start in this up position, quickly strike the pad and come back up. So that's a modified motion from before. Do some isolated ones and just make sure that as soon as you hit that surface, you bounce back up like you've got a spring in your wrist. It should come back up real quickly. Now I want you to notice when I form my correct grip and I do that in the air and I move up and down, if I'm totally relaxed, look what happens. My center of mass is somewhere around here. So that means there's just as much weight on this side as there is on this side. And so when this goes down, this wrist joint comes up. So you can see that. So if I'm flexing my arm and I have a lot of tension, then my wrist doesn't move up and down. But if I relax and I play comfortably, my wrist goes up every time my hand goes down. You need to look for that wrist popping motion while you're playing, because it means that you're relaxed from your shoulder all the way down to your wrist. So review this motion, make sure that you're doing it, but check to get a spring in your wrist motion. Get your grip, diagonal across the palm of the hand, 3 fingers wrapped around. Thumb on the stick, center of the thumb on the center of the stick, no gap between the thumb and pointer finger. Pointer finger and thumb are at the same height compared to each other. Get your correct posture, shoulders down and relaxed, elbows are by your side. Bend only your elbows and come up. Wrists are likely going to be farther away from your body than your elbows. And you need a good piece of pizza, and check your angle so that you have a completely flat German grip. And now use that motion that you've been training over the past couple of days to move your wrist straight up. Your sticks, when I do it, my sticks stay together, but it's not really a major issue if they come apart. The main thing is that when you do it, you need to make sure you're using that motion that we've been working on, where you're hinging and you're not slicing in or out. So wherever that motion takes you because of you doing all those wrist builder training, that's where your sticks should be. Mine come apart slightly, but not that much. Okay, now that I'm up in this position, I can do that motion that I was just now reviewing, where I'm on the pad like this. I start up and I end up. I'm going to do the same thing with my stick. Okay, just individual motions. I want to make sure that I'm using my wrist. If you let go with your fingers like this and then you use your fingers, it actually totally works, but down the road when you get some more advanced drumming, you're going to wish you had those fingers available for more difficult skills. Instead, focus on keeping the back 3 fingers wrapped around the stick and using your wrist. So if we go to a side angle, let me see if I can do this here. You should be able to see my wrist going up when my stick goes down. You can see that wrist pop. All right, do one motion at a time and check that you are relaxed. Check that you're moving the stick as fast as you can, and check that it's your wrist that's doing the work rather than your fingers or your arm. So again, it should look like this. I'm not moving my wrist up, it's just doing that naturally because I'm relaxed. You can see that my fingers are all still gripping the stick. I'm not letting go, and I'm not, especially with my back fingers, and I'm not squeezing my fingers. They're not doing anything. They're just holding on in a relaxed way so that I can get a good motion. Once you've got that motion, you you can go ahead and try to do multiple strokes in a row. When you do multiple strokes in a row, make sure you stay relaxed, make sure that the stick never stops, and make sure that that it's a quick motion down and then it's a slow motion at the top. The stick should never stop. You should be able to do this with pretty much just your wrist, but keeping your fingers and arm totally relaxed. Don't forget when you go to your other hand that you also do isolated strokes. Make sure that we're doing everything we talked about, not using fingers, but just holding on with my fingers and using wrist. Staying relaxed, gentle but firm, not letting go of the stick when we play. And then you can connect the motion.